Level 1, age 25, the enrollment. You are 25 years old. You have been at the job 11 weeks. HR sends you an email on a Tuesday afternoon with the subject line 401k enrollment, action required. You open it between two meetings, you close it. You tell yourself you'll handle it on Friday. Friday comes. You don't handle it. The following Wednesday, a woman named Marta stops by your desk. She is in her 50s. She has a laminated badge and a clipboard and the specific patience of someone who has watched 1,000 25-year-olds do exactly what you're doing. She asks if you need help with the paperwork. You say no. You say you've been meaning to get to it. She smiles in a way that is not unkind and leaves a printed form on your desk anyway. The form has a box, contribution percentage. You stare at it. Your salary is $58,400. The company match is 4%. You do the math in your head. 4% of $58,400 is $2,336 a year. If you contribute nothing, you lose that money every year. Not metaphorically, literally. It sits in the company's account and never becomes yours. You write 6%. You sign the form. You walk it to Marta's office. The first paycheck after enrollment is $47 short compared to what you expected. $47. You look at the stub. You feel the $47 the way you feel a missed meal. The account shows a balance of $47. That's it. That's the empire. You almost change it back. You don't. 6 months in, the balance reads $1,680, including the match. You don't check it often. There is nothing to check. The number moves so slowly that checking feels like watching paint. By 28, the account holds $14,200. You got a raise. The percentage stayed at 6%. Your contribution dollars went up with the salary because the math carried itself. The market had a bad quarter. You watched the balance drop $1,100 in 3 weeks. You didn't pull anything out. You didn't add more either. You just let it sit. This is the level where money doesn't feel like money. It feels like a number in a browser tab you rarely open. You open the app once on a Sunday night. You stare at the projection calculator. You type in your age, your balance, your contribution rate. You hit enter. The number at the end at age 65 reads $1.3 million. You laugh out loud in an empty apartment. You don't believe it. Level 2, age 32, the catch-up. Your balance is $67,400. You're 32. You thought you'd feel further along than this. You had a bad year at 29. You left the job with Marta's 401k. You rolled it into an IRA, which took 3 phone calls and a notarized signature, and 46 minutes of hold music. You then didn't contribute to the IRA for 14 months, because the new job was contract and had no match. And the idea of moving money you'd have to move again felt pointless. It wasn't pointless. That was 14 months of compounding you'll never get back. At 31, you take a full-time role at a mid-sized firm. Salary $78,000. You enroll in the 401k on day 1. You contribute 10% this time. You don't need anyone named Marta to explain why. The math on the 14-month gap haunts you for a month, then stops haunting you, then quietly becomes a permanent feature of your thinking about money. Every dollar has a date stamp on it. A dollar invested at 22 is worth roughly $21 at 65. A dollar invested at 32 is worth roughly $10 at 65. A dollar invested at 42 is worth roughly $5. The math doesn't care about your feelings about the math. You open a Roth IRA the same week you start the new job. You contribute $500 a month. Automated. You don't see the money leave. That's the point. Seeing it leave is how you lose it. By 34, the accounts combined hold $142,000. 401k, IRA, Roth, IRA. A small taxable brokerage holding $11,400 because you wanted somewhere to put money you could touch before 59.5 without penalties. You call your father on a Sunday. His name is Dalton. He is 67. He retired at 63 from a job at a regional utility company that provided a pension. The pension was real. It is also smaller than he expected. Healthcare costs ate into it in ways the calculators didn't model. He moved to a smaller place at 66. He did not want to. He did it anyway. He tells you over the phone that he should have saved more in the 403b the utility offered. He says he thought the pension was enough. He says the word thought 3 times in the same sentence. You hang up. You open the app. You increase your contribution from 10% to 13%. You don't tell him. Level 3. Age 40, the machine hums. You are 40. Your combined retirement accounts hold $412,000. You are making $124,000 a year. You contribute 15% to the 401k. You max the Roth IRA every year on January 2nd. All $7,000 in one deposit, scheduled automatically because dollar cost averaging across the year loses to time and market often enough that you stopped doing it at 36. You have a taxable brokerage that holds $88,000, mostly in a total market index fund with an expense ratio of 0.03%. The machine hums. You do nothing most months. You rebalance twice a year. You check the accounts maybe once a quarter. You read the statements for 90 seconds and close them. The hard part is not the contributing. The hard part is the not spending. You drive a 2019 sedan with 112,000 miles. It runs. A coworker bought a new SUV at 38. $780 a month for 72 months. You did the math on that loan once on a napkin at lunch and never mentioned it to her. $780 a month invested for 25 years at 7% is roughly $620,000. The SUV will be worth $4,000 in 25 years. The math is not complicated. The math is almost never complicated. Your friends start to have money, not wealthy but comfortable. Kitchen renovations, trips to Portugal, second cars. Your life looks smaller than theirs. You are aware of this. You do not know how to explain that the smallness is chosen without sounding sanctimonious, so you don't explain. You say the house is fine. You say you don't need another car. You say you're happy with the Portugal photos on Instagram. Some of that is true. Some of it is a language you've developed to protect a thing you can't point at yet. You get married at 37. Your spouse comes into the marriage with $22,000 in a 401k and a gentle suspicion that you are slightly strange about money. You have one conversation about it that lasts 3 hours on a couch on a Sunday night. You show the spreadsheet, not the account balances. The spreadsheet, the one that projects what 30 more years of this looks like. The spreadsheet is persuasive. Spreadsheets always are when the math is on your side. By 42, the combined household retirement holdings cross $600,000. You are not wealthy. You do not feel wealthy. You drive the same car, you buy the same groceries. What you are is on track. Being on track is invisible from the outside. That is the cost and the gift of it. Level 4. Age 50, the catch-up contributions. Your accounts hold $1.14 million. You are 50. The IRS lets you contribute more starting this year. Catch-up contributions. An extra $7,500 on top of the standard 401k limit. An extra $1,000 on top of the IRA limit. You max all of it. The first year you do it, you feel something almost like greed. Not for the money, for the window. The window is narrow. It closes at 65. You have 15 years of this larger contribution available, and you are not going to waste any of them. You hire a fee-only financial planner. Her name is Yusra. She charges $5,200 a year. She is the first person in your adult life who looks at your accounts and tells you things you did not already know. She tells you your asset allocation is slightly too aggressive for your age. You argue with her for 20 minutes. She wins. You rebalance. She tells you about a backdoor Roth conversion strategy that saves you approximately $14,000 in taxes over the next decade. She flags that you are underutilizing your HSA, which she calls a stealth retirement account. Triple tax advantaged, no required distributions, and usable for Medicare premiums in retirement. You max the HSA from that point forward. She also tells you something else. She tells you this. During the second meeting, while reviewing the projection model on her monitor, she says, "At your current trajectory, you will have more money than you need." You don't respond. You stare at the screen. The projected balance at 65 reads $2.4 million. The projected balance at 80 reads $3.1 million after decades of withdrawal. The money keeps growing even as you spend it. That is what the math does when you start early and never stop. You should feel triumphant. Instead, you feel something you can't name. You drive home. You sit in the car in the driveway for 11 minutes before going inside. You realize the account wasn't the point. The decades were the point, and you already spent them. You think about Dalton. He is 77 now. He lives in a one-bedroom apartment. He still mentions the pension math sometimes. You think about yourself at 25, signing Marta's paperwork. You think about 32 on the phone with your father, increasing your contribution afterward in a kind of silent rebuke of what you were afraid of becoming. You have not become that. You are the opposite of that. You are on track. You are ahead of track. You are past needing to be on track. And you are 50. That evening, your spouse asks how the meeting with Yusra went. You say it went well. You say she had good ideas about the HSA. You do not mention the projection. You do not mention the 11 minutes in the driveway. There is no language for what you felt. There is only the car seat and the garage door. Level 5. Age 59 and a half. The unlock. You are 59 years and 6 months old. Today is the first day you can withdraw from your retirement accounts without a 10% penalty. You do not withdraw anything. The account holds $1.86 million across all retirement vehicles, $340,000 in the taxable brokerage. The house is paid off. It has been for 4 years. You have no debt. You make $168,000 at a job you could leave tomorrow. The decision to keep working is not about the money. You know this. Yusra knows this. Your spouse knows this. You have breakfast with Dalton on a Saturday morning. He is 82. He drives 40 minutes to meet you at a diner. He orders eggs the way he has ordered eggs for 60 years. Over-under, whites crispy, yolks loose. The waitress knows him. She calls him by name. He tells you across the Formica table that he wishes he had worked longer. Not for the money, because the stopping was harder than he expected. He says retirement wasn't an event. It was a vacuum. He says he was 63 when he stopped, and 64 when he realized he had built his entire identity around a job he had, in retrospect, not particularly liked. He says he did not see himself coming. You drive home. You sit in the driveway again. This has become a place you sit. You think about the math you have done for 35 years. Every calculation has been about getting to here. You have been extraordinarily good at the math. The math has delivered what it promised. $1.86 million. Penalty-free access. Full optionality. The math never included a chapter on what to do after the math was done. You increase your charitable giving by $24,000 that year. You start mentoring 2 junior employees at work. You take a 2-week trip with your spouse to a country you'd always talked about and never visited. You come home and the feeling you were hoping for, the feeling that the decades had paid for something specific, is still not there. You don't withdraw anything. The unlock isn't the moment the money becomes available. The unlock is the moment you realize the not taking is its own discipline, and the discipline has nothing left to be in service of. You keep going to work. You don't know what else to do yet. Level 6. Age 65. The stop, you are 65. Your combined portfolio holds $2.62 million. You announce your retirement on a Tuesday in March. Your last day is June 3rd. The 14 weeks in between are oddly peaceful. Meetings you would have stressed about feel weightless. Emails you would have answered at 10 p.m. sit in the inbox until morning. The job has already ended inside your head. The calendar is just catching up. The final day involves a cake. It is a grocery store cake. Your name is on it in blue frosting. People you have worked with for 8 years make brief speeches. Someone says you are the most disciplined person they have ever worked with. You're not sure if this is a compliment. You smile and say thank you. You carry a small cardboard box out to your car at 4:47 p.m. The box holds a succulent 2-framed photos, a mug, and a stack of birthday cards from coworkers across the years you hadn't realized you'd kept. You drive home. You put the box on the kitchen counter. The succulent goes on the windowsill. That night you sleep badly. The first Monday morning of retirement is June 7th. You gave yourself a week of buffer. You wake up at 6:12 a.m. out of pure habit. You make coffee. You sit at the kitchen table. The house is quiet. Your spouse is still asleep. You have nowhere to be. You have built, across 40 years, a machine that generates $104,000 a year in sustainable withdrawals at a conservative 4% rate. Social Security adds another $34,000. The math is more than solid. The math is, as Yusra said at 50, past the point of needing to be solid. You sit at the kitchen table with the coffee. You think about Marta, who is probably retired now too somewhere. You think about the $47 short paycheck. You think about the 14-month gap at 29 that you can still feel like a phantom limb. You think about Dalton, who passed away 18 months ago at 84 and who told you at 82 across a Formica table that the stopping was harder than the working. He was right. You didn't believe him at the time, not really. You thought discipline would carry through the transition. Discipline has carried a lot of things. It does not carry this. You have the money. You have the time. You have the health. The HSA USRA pushed you into at 50 is now covering Medicare premiums exactly as she said it would. You have the optionality. You have every single thing the 25-year-old signing the paperwork on Marta's clipboard was promised he would have if he just stayed the course. You stayed the course. You sit at the kitchen table and you realize that the life you traded for this was the life where you drove the new car at 38, went to Portugal with your friends at 44, renovated the kitchen at 47. That life didn't get lived by you. Someone else got to live it. Someone who is now 65 with $180,000 in retirement savings and a different set of problems at the kitchen table this morning. You got the other trade. You got the math. You got the $2.62 million. You got the cake and the succulent and the 4% withdrawal rate. The decades, though. The decades are spent. You finish the coffee. You wash the cup. You put it in the drying rack. It is 7:04 a.m. on a Monday in June. You have approximately 25 good years ahead of you, actuarially speaking. You have no idea what you are going to do with them. You go outside to water the succulent you brought home in the cardboard box. You stand in the backyard. The grass is wet. It is cold under your feet. The sky is the same sky you looked at from a shared apartment with 2 roommates when you were 25, and Marta had just handed you the form. Same sky. Same person, technically. Not the same person at all. You did the math right. You built the machine. The machine runs. You are free. You are also 65. You stand in the backyard longer than you meant to. A neighbor's dog barks twice and stops. A car starts somewhere down the street. The world is going to work. You are not going to work. You will not go to work tomorrow either. The absence of the obligation is physical, like a pressure you didn't know was there until it lifted. You think about the contribution percentages you changed over the decades. 6% at 25, 10% at 31, 13% after the call with Dalton, 15% at 40, the catch-up at 50. Every number a small decision at a kitchen table or a desk or a driveway. None of them felt important at the time. All of them stacked, built this morning. You also think about what you didn't do. The sabbatical at 34 that a colleague took and came back from changed. The second child your spouse mentioned twice at 38, and you said you weren't ready. The year abroad at 52 when Yusra said, you could afford this now, and you said, next year. Next year didn't come. Next year never comes while you're still contributing. That was the whole design of the machine. The machine doesn't stop for next year's, you go back inside. The coffee has gone cold, you pour it out, you start over. You did the math right, you are going to have to do something else now.